My name is Jessica Rosas, and this is Stress, the benefits reappraisal has on our mind and health. This was actually based on the research article called Mind Over Matter, Reappraising Arousal Improves Cardiovascular and Cognitive Responses to Stress, which was published by Jameson and his colleagues in 2012. To begin with, it's not a surprise that college students experience constant levels of stress. After all, their future does depend on their education. Stress is actually commonly seen as detrimental when it actually isn't. It's just how we perceive it, but it can be changed and it can be perceived as something positive and helpful. This is why it is important to identify stress cues, which we will get into in a bit. And stress has been proven to have positive effects in education, such as increased attention and improving our health, thanks to the research Jameson and his colleagues have done. Okay, so the question that was proposed was, is stress harmful or helpful? Thanks to Jameson, we know that stress is actually helpful if we see it as that. So there was 50 participants around 20 years of age, in which the 50 were boys and girls, so there was a good distribution. And the experimental conditions was reappraising stress, meaning that we saw stress and told the participants to see their stress as something positive and helpful. While the first control group was ignoring stress, so these participants were just told to simply ignore stress and what caused the stress. The second control group were the no intervention to stress group. So the participants were not told anything at all. So this was done so that we can see how people naturally react to stress. And they were measuring this with the CO levels and the TPR levels. And this was just showing how the blood flow and how people were breathing and the oxygen intakes. So this was done with questionnaire speeches and negative feedback. The negative feedback was given to the participants when they were performing their speeches. So what the research showed for our reappraisal was that it actually caused low TPR and high CO levels. And this also helped increase focus for 77%, and they actually made less mistakes than the other groups, which was 81% of less mistakes. While ignoring stress both ignoring stress and no intervention showed that there was high TPR levels and low CO levels. And this meant that they were prone to more errors when answering the questionnaires and the math problems. And this was also shown in the graphs below. So my personal experience with anxiety is test anxiety. I start to hyperventilate, my heart starts racing, and my hands start trembling, and they become very sweaty. And this is not really good while testing, because I'm focusing on that instead of my actual exam. This affects me because I would get lower grades in my first year. But now that I realize that stress is actually helpful, I'm actually getting better grades and my GPA has increased significantly. So how can I fix this? Well, I fix this by making sure that I breathed deeply instead of hyperventilating when I did notice myself hyperventilating. And whenever my heart was racing, I would count down from 1 to 10 continuously, or I would just keep counting down until I felt that my heart was no longer in my ears. And I would stop my trembling and sweaty palms by just airing them out and drying them, and then just fidgeting with my eraser or my pencil while I was thinking of the answers and how to answer my exam. So looking forward, what have I learned? The skills that I have learned were identifying the stress factors, because if I identify the stress factors, I can then use those stress factors and think, hey, well, my breathing, that's actually, I'm increasing more oxygen, I'm increasing the blood flow if I hyperventilate too. So, and also if I am fidgeting and if my hands are sweating and trembling, it's just that I have a lot of adrenaline, and I'm releasing that adrenaline in one way so that I can focus the rest of that adrenaline on my exam. Not only that, but I have to remember the benefits. Okay, so breathing more, it's giving me more blood flow. That's an example. And we have to remember stress is good, not bad. So how can I apply reappraisal to my life? So this is going to be helpful for taking exams, which can help improve my grade. And if that happens, then it's going to go on to be useful for nursing. Not only will I have to use it for academics, but as a future nurse, I'm going to have to use applying reappraisal to stress by thinking of my stress as something in my workplace, which is going to be extremely stressful when I'm trying to help people. I'm going to have to say, okay, well, this is this is done so that I can have more breathing. And if I breathe, I'm alive. And if I'm alive, I can help more people as a nurse. So that's how I can use it for nursing. Okay, the summary would be that stress is actually helpful, not beneficial. Pardon me. Stress is actually helpful and beneficial. So we have to perceive it in that way. And stress is actually really important, because if we have stress, then we are going to be motivated. And this can be done by identifying our stress factors and saying, okay, well, this stress factor, such as hyperventilating, well, I'm getting more oxygen in my brain, there's more oxygen levels, and there's more blood flow due to that. And if we reappraise stress, if we learn how to do it and teach others, we can help everyone so they can use this every day whenever they feel stressed. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.